Hello, welcome to In One in Design. We're going to get started today with this really awesome painting that we're going to be doing for the Girl Scouts. This is for Girl Scout Unit 681, and this is going to be a sample video for a mural that you're going to be working on. So these are the colors that we're going to be using today. We're going to be using our red, our yellow, our brown, our black, our white, and our blue. Make sure you have a hair dryer. You're gonna need it so that you can dry your layers a little bit faster and so you don't take such a long time painting. Naturally, with a mural, that wouldn't happen. You would paint one, allow it to dry, then you would move on and paint the next section. So you can do that. You can pause this video and take this painting a step at a time, however it makes you the most comfortable. So next, make sure you do have some water. Make sure that you do have a towel so that you can dry your brushes with. And make sure you have these types of brushes, okay? I'm gonna have a large background brush that's the size enough for me to cover the back of my canvas. You're probably gonna need to use a bigger, wider brush to cover the sides of your canvas because you have such a large canvas. So I'm using a large one, so you're gonna need to use one that's maybe a little bit bigger to paint the back. Make sure you have a large one. Make sure you have an average square brush, something about maybe this size for you, for your large canvas. For me, it's a lot smaller since my canvas is smaller. This is a 16 by 20. Next, you're gonna need some kind of a round tip brush. These come in various different sizes. They also sell them in larger sizes at Michael's, a lot chunkier so you can fill in the hair and the dress. And then I'm going to use a liner detail brush, which is the smallest one that you're going to be needing for the eyes, for the lines, and stuff like that. So you technically need just 4 brushes. And I'm going to give you steps on how to go about painting. Usually we start with our background and then we move on to our foreground, which is the top layer. Okay, which is why, again, we need to use our hair dryer so we can paint it a layer at a time. So we're going to start off first working on our background. And I'm going to start off first with my large background brush, picking up a little bit of water. And I'm going to start to make a sky blue. I'm adding water to my white. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of blue to that. And we want our white to be very pale. We don't want it to be dark at all. If you want, you can also add just a little bit of yellow to make it a little bit on the turquoise side, the teal side. But again, it's mostly white and mostly blue. Here we go, something very light. And we're gonna start to paint the background. Everything that's around our characters. We could even paint over these black lines. You'll still be able to see them afterwards as the paint dries. You're gonna wanna remember to pick up a little bit more paint. If you see that your paint is too scratchy, add a little bit of water. If you see that your paint is too watery, add a little bit more paint. Decide how thick do you want this painting or the color in the back to look. Do you want it to look very thick? Do you want it to look sticky? Do you want it to look dark? We are working on making it light. So every time it gets too dark, oh man, see like that, you can always come back and pick up a little bit of white and add it right on top to brighten it up again. There's no such thing as messing up. Don't think about that. Play with the colors. If it's too dark, make it lighter. If it's too light, make it darker. However you're comfortable. I'm trying to make it a little bit more of a shade of blue versus a teal. There we go. And we want to do one side and then the other side. One side and then the other side. Really long swipes. Or for you, you can focus at a section at a time. Okay. You just want to continue to move so that your paint doesn't dry. So if you want to work on the background first, and then you want to go in and work on the characters, just do one section at a time. You don't want to be painting over dry paint. You want to work on your background all at once so that you have wet paint constantly as you're painting it. You want to paint the girl's skin all at once. You want to paint the hair all at once, go for it. You don't want to just do this in sections or spots. Okay, and let's keep this up. So next, as we go lower, we're going to start to make a dark gray, which means we're going to pick up a little bit of our black. And to not overdo it, we're going to add our black to our white. We want to keep our gray not too dark. You want it sort of subtle right in the middle. If you see that it's too black, add more white. If you see that maybe it's not too dark, add a little bit more black. And we're going to start to paint with this gray, the bottom half of our canvas. So next we're going to be doing our skin color. Working on our character here, we're going to be using our round tip brush, using a little bit of red, yellow, and white. If it's too dark, add more white. If it's too pink, add more yellow. If it's too orange, add more red until you get that light color we're looking for. Remember to add some water. We want it to be nice and smooth. And with our round tip, we're going to go in and fill in the skin, our arm, and we're going to continue to do these to all of our characters. I'm using my round tip and my liner brush to make all these little outlines or all the skin colors stand out. So to add just a little bit of shadow to this color, I'm going to add just a tiny drop of brown to that tan color we've been using. A little drop of brown into my tan. I might need to add a little bit more red and yellow too, just because it got a little bit too um, light. I ran out of paint, it dried a little bit. So I'm coming in with my darker color. It's a little bit more of a brown color. And I'm going to use it to start outlining certain things. First, I'm starting with her jaw. On the side of her thigh. On her inner thigh. So it looks like she has two legs. So again, I came in off of the side, did the outer thigh. I'm even adding a little bit to the bottom here. You can also add on top of the hair. So it looks like there's shadow. Okay. Next with the girls down here, same thing, grabbing a little bit of that darker brown, putting some shadow on the side of the neck. On the side of the leg, so that you can tell that it's two separate legs. And you're doing that to all these characters underneath the neck a little bit on the left-hand side. That way it looks like there's some shadow there. Also underneath the hair, you can add a little on the side of the thigh. And there you go. Next, we're gonna come in and we're gonna start to work on the brown and the white of the outfits. So starting off, we have a very, very light gray, which is black with white and a little bit of extra white. And that is the color of the arm that we have on this shirt right here. So we're coming in, coloring that arm, that gray color, very light. Okay. Again, very light. You can also add a little bit of blue to that gray to make it a blue-gray color. We're also going to add some right here at the bottom of the outfit. She has it a little bit more on the gray side. Next, we have the rest of her outfit, which is more of a light brown. We come in with some white and brown, and let's add a little bit more white in it. There we go. And we have a light brown color. You can also add a little bit of gray in that, and you'll have a gray brown. Nice. So we have a light brown, and we're going to start to fill in all of the outfit. See that? We're also going to fill in part of the sleeve on top. You can come in with a little bit more brown or black to do the shadow as well. Right here, we have it a little darker. We also have it a little bit darker underneath the hair on the side of the arm. Next, for the rest of these outfits, we are going to be using a light gray. Again, the color was white with a little bit of black to make a very light gray. See that? And that's the color that we have these outfits being over here on our girls. So again, we're going to paint their outfits a dark gray. While we're working on this tan, we're going to get a little bit of that brown with white, and we're going to add a little bit of yellow to it. With that brown with white and yellow, we're going to come in and paint our first book. Okay, I'm using my round tip. We're going to be painting our first book. You can grab white and directly just spread it on there. There we go. Since we're working with that tan, we might as well do this. Next, we're going to be playing with our blues. So first we start off with the blue that we see on top. We're going to start this blue, picking up a little bit of blue, white. We're going to add a little bit of black in there. So we're starting to get a gray blue, you see that? Because we added the white and black. And then to this, we're going to add a little drop of yellow. And we're going to start to get sort of a turquoise or a deep turquoise gray blue color. See that? And we're going to start to paint in the top of our sign here. So let's come in. And it's a grayish blue color that we're painting our sign. Here we go. For this, I am going to use my larger brush because it is a bigger space. A little bit of water, a little bit of this blue. Again, it was blue with white, some black, and a little drop of yellow. And we're going to come in and paint our banner. When you're done with all this, we're going to want to work on the dresses and the skirts. So technically all the skirts, right? I don't think any of the girls are wearing dresses. It's just a skirt. Perfect. So nice and light from one side to the other. Nice and light. Try not to push too hard. You want to do it nice and slowly from the left to the right. See that? You could add a little bit more white as well. If maybe you think it's too dark, you can add the white directly on the canvas. See, pick up a little bit more of that white. You can start to add that on there as well. And there we go. Next, let's do the blue on our umbrella. We're picking up our plain blue, nothing complicated. And we're going to begin to fill in the center section of our umbrella with that blue. And we're going to do both the bottom and the top. All that is going to be outlined when we're done painting the whole thing. So come in with some of that blue. And there we go. Got a little bit of that blue there. I'm going to come in and blow dry this, and then we'll be moving on. Continuing, the bottom of our skirt here is actually going to be a little bit of black with blue. So again, the skirt below is going to be a navy blue, And we make it by mixing black and blue. We're gonna come in, outline her skirt, and then we're gonna start to paint it upwards. Okay, we wanna paint it all to the line. Paint the back of the skirt as well. You're gonna come back afterwards and with the black detail brush, outline all these details. So don't worry about them right now. Again, the skirt, we're brushing upwards with a round tip brush. There we go. And you know what? Turns out her shoes are actually kind of gray. So remember how we made her gray? We just mixed some black and some white, and we made her gray. So I'm actually going to use this gray that we still have. Okay, let me clean that off. If you happen to get some paint in other places and you think you ruined it, don't think about that. That's not true. You can always come back, get a little piece of material, and you can always clean it up. There you go. See? So next we're coming in with that gray, and I'm going to fill in this shoe. You could go in, just paint that shoe. And again, afterwards, we'll be coming in, doing our details. Now, for now, it looks like one big boot. Awesome. So moving down to the skirts over here, we're picking up some plain blue as well. Just plain blue. We're coming in and we're filling in all these skirts. We're going to come in, paint these blue. This is a perfect excuse of, or example, not excuse, I'm sorry, example of messing up. There's no excuses. You could always fix it. This actually goes brown, but I painted it blue. Okay, so that's fine. We are going to be able to fix it if you did it just like me. Again, this is just some practice and learning on now how to be so hard on yourselves and understanding that even when you're painting, even as a professional, you still mess up and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, so we do need to come in and fix that. I also noticed that I did miss a little bit of an ear up here. So you kind of look around, look at any other touch-ups you have to do. Here I did, I filled one ear there. There's another ear on that side as well. Perfect. Awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry it, maybe add another coat of blue, and then we're gonna start to work on some more of our browns. Again, I'm now adding another coat of this blue just so that it doesn't look so see-through. The picture that we're copying is a digital picture that was made online. So the lines are a lot different. The colors are a lot bolder. We are working with acrylic, so it is going to look a little bit different. Okay, here we go. Now we're picking up the plain blue and we're going to go over our umbrella one more time. And then we're going to add that shadow beneath it. You can use that dark blue that you used on the skirt below here for that. Okay, starting off with the skirts again. Remember, this one doesn't have blue, it's actually brown, but we added a little bit of blue in there anyways. We're going to erase it later on. Again, it's just a little mistake we get to fix. No big deal. Coming in with some of that blue. In, pin in that vest one more time. Okay. So next we're going to be working with our brown. We are going to come in and pick up our brown here, starting off with the hair on our character over here. Her hair is a little bit on the darker side. So to the brown, we're going to add just a little drop of black just to make it slightly darker. And we're going to begin to fill out her hair. So she comes in. Remember not to add too much water in your brush. The color is kind of thick. Okay, right here, we're going to come into the side of the face. And then from here, we're actually going to curve down to the shoulders. We also have a little bit coming out on that side of her face as well. And behind her back, we have some hair coming down as well. Here's her hair. What else do we have a little bit of brown? Remember I brought up her skirt. So we're coming in with some of that dark chocolate brown. And we're going to begin to fill in her skirt. And I told you, even if we painted it blue, when we painted with our brown was going to take completely over the color. And you weren't even going to be able to tell. Here's her skirt, painted nice and brown also. And you know what? Let's start with her hair towards the left. Her hair is more of a light brown. So we're grabbing a little bit of brown and we're adding a little bit of yellow and a tiny bit of white. She has way lighter hair. So let's go fill in her hair, nice and light. See that? She has light brown. We go on the side of her face. Make sure that the hair stands out. See that? Now we're going to come on to the other side. Continue it behind her shoulder. and bring it upwards. And there we go. She has her light brown hair. Okay. Next, we move on to her hair, and her hair is way more, in a sense, a bit blonder. So we add more yellow and even more white. And she's going to have lighter hair. Okay, a little bit more white. There we go. More of a blondie. So her hair, same thing, starts from the top. We bring it down to the shoulder. And it goes up. Same thing, side of the shoulder. It goes up. Has a little bit of the hair on the side. And then we have that character right there. Next to her, we have this character, and this character has way darker hair. So it's a super, super chocolatey brown. We're gonna add extra, extra black. Try to make it a little bit darker. And then we're gonna come in and do her hair. Remember, if your paint is too see-through, add more paint. If your paint is too thick, add more water. You kind of have to find something right in the middle. Okay. Again, here's her hair. We're going to come in from the side, curve it inwards. And from here, we're going to curve our hair outwards. See that? And there we go. We have our hair. Speaking about this dark brown, we're going to come in with a little bit more of the brown, and we're going to also paint in our bottom book. Looks as if we have a brown book towards the bottom here. Let's go ahead and paint this. That brown color. And we're going to go ahead and fill that out. Let's go ahead and blow dry this, and then we'll be moving on to some more details. So what we did next, we came in with a little bit of red and white, and I made these little circular forms up on top. Those are the only light colors that we see here. We used again our round tip brush for that. Then I came in, you can come in with your liner brush and make some of these lines going in a circle. See that? Next, we came in and with our white, we filled in our labels, our little papers, and our little logo that we did up on top. Finally, with our liner brush, since we're using our very small brush, our smallest one, we are going to go in and we're going to start to make some green. Okay, if you want to add some white right here in the center, you can add a little white dot there, a little white line below the ribbons. And then we can begin making our green. So again, our green was going to be a little bit of blue and yellow. The more blue you add, the darker it gets. The more yellow you add, the lighter it gets. So we're using our green. We want to get a green right in the middle. And we're going to start to do our logo. So we're going to come in. So we're going to begin to do our Girl Scouts logo. There we go. Right here, we're going to grab some of that blue and green. We're going to do the same design that we did up here on each of the shirts. We're doing one over here, 4 sides, 4 little round edges. Same thing on her vest. If it's too dark, you can add a little bit of yellow to make it stand out. And same thing on her vest over here. On her vest, we actually have some green lines that are outlined just like we have blue here. We actually have some brown with black on this side. See, there's one edge, and here's the inside. And right in the edges, we have some lines holding it up. See that? From here with that brown, you can actually come in and fill in her eyes also. I know it looks a little weird. We are going to go in and do the outlines of the face, but you can come in and fill in these eyes. I'm working on making this hair just a little bit more with a point on it, adding a little bit more character, getting it a little bit more wispy. All right. So with that green, we're also going to add a little bit of yellow and green to make our lines underneath this skirt. We have some yellow and green lines going up on our skirt here. We also have a yellow and green, or yellow with blue to make green flower down here at the bottom. If it's too bright, you can come in with a little bit of blue to make it stand out as well. And you can add a little bit of more, maybe even white, just to make it pop. There we go. We want that to stand out right above. The other thing we're going to be painting green is going to be our shoe, and we're going with the dark green. So make sure it's a little bit more blue. We're putting a shoe over here. Let's Close that in. And we're also going to be filling in this book. So come in with your liner brush or your big round tip brush. Your book is a little bit bigger than mine, so you're gonna wanna use a bigger brush and fill in that book with your green. Okay. If you wanna add a little bit of white inside this shoe, you can add a little bit of white right inside. Even add a little bit of blue in there. We have that part of the shoe done. Let's also add some white on this gray. We're gonna do one and another one, so it looks like two shoes there. Here's one shoe, and here's the other one a little bit longer. Bring it forward, and then we're gonna do the top of our shoe, sort of like the Converse. See that? And then this part is gonna go to the back. It's the bottom of our shoe, the sole of our shoe. Okay. So let me show you what that looks like on this side. So you did that white part in the middle. See that? And then on the tip of the shoe, you're gonna just make a little arch here. And then you're gonna do the bottom of the shoe. Okay, and there we go. Next, if you want to add any outlines, this would be the perfect time. You can get a little bit of your blue with your black, going for that navy blue. See that? And you can start to add some color below here. So I'm adding a little bit of a shadow, coming in with that blue, adding some line. Same thing down here. I'm going to add some shadow on that side. Right at the bottom. And even some lines going up. You can also add some shadow on the inside of the vest. And even some shadow below the umbrella. Don't forget that the hair does go over all that. So we want to make sure to not cover that so much. And there we go. Last thing we need to do with our green is to come in and write G. Let me pick it up a little bit more. We're supposed to write our G. Ooh, it's not working. Let me see. G, there we go. And then an S. So a G and an S. When we're done with all that, we're just gonna come in, fill in our final green, which is our corners of our umbrella. A little bit of blue and that yellow. Let's fill in our corners here. And there you go. So when we're done with that, we can come in and with our smallest brush that we have, we're going to start to do our outlines. We're going to outline every single thing. We're going to outline the banner, do our lines on top. We're going to outline the girls. We're going to write our words in the bottom, and we're going to outline our girls and the words on our signs. We're not going to do our letters on our books yet until the end. So again, I'm going to outline all of this and the words below, and then we'll be moving on to these words. So you're gonna see me turning my sheet a little bit as I'm starting to do these outlines. I am gonna expand the screen so you can see it a little better, but you're gonna see me do all my outlines, moving my canvas around. Working with our doll, we do sometimes go over some things. For example, we went over the hand a little bit trying to do our banner. Luckily, it's a very easy fix. We're gonna come in, we're gonna do our hand once more. And something we didn't notice last time that we are noticing this time is one, I made it a little bit too thick. So I'm coming in with some more of this blue. Okay. And we're gonna start to paint the arm just a little bit over with some of that blue. Okay, it'll look more like a shadow with a little bit of our water. We're gonna start to wash beneath it, and that way it becomes a glaze and it fades a little bit towards the bottom, and you can't really tell that we painted that there. It'll start to erase towards the background. Next, we do have a little cookie that she's holding. So we're gonna draw our cookie right here, and it's got a little bit of a bite on it. So our bite, so that it stands out, we're gonna add just a little bit of this blue and white, or just some white, whatever you feel comfortable with. That way you can tell that it's got a little bit of a bite on that side. Again, I am coming in with the arm, and I'm beginning to just shape it a little different now. And we're gonna go ahead and blow dry this so that we can continue doing our outlines. Again, I am going to be adding some more outlines, and you're going to see me use a really, really small brush to do the outlines on their faces and on the hair. Okay, we do want the hair to be very fine. We want it all to stand up very nicely. So we're going to use a smaller brush instead of this really big brush. We could use this round tip brush, but if we want more details, we're going to have to use an even smaller brush. Okay, so I'm adding some outlines to my hair. So I have now outlined the umbrella, the letters that say Stormtroopers, the writing here. I outlined all of my girl, the shoes, their faces, their hair, their eyes, the signs. And at the moment, I am finishing this Girl Scout towards the right. Finishing adding my black lines, outlining the sign. We're gonna write in the words, ask me about Girl Scouts. We're also gonna finish outlining the little bow that she has hanging down. Outlining the chevron design and the outside shoulder and elbow. I already did their hair. You want to come back with a little bit more black and outline it some more. You can come and add more outlines to the hair. Now I'm going to come in, do my lines on this shoe, doing the bottom lines of the sole, doing the outline around the shoe itself, doing the X's for laces, and the little bow for a ribbon. Next, at the bottom, I'm going to be writing Imperial Valley Girl Scouts at Gmail. And right here, I'm going to write Girl Scout San Diego Unit 681 Imperial Valley. And I'm also going to outline their legs. So after you're done writing Imperial Valley, we're going to pick up that same little brush. We're picking up some water and we are writing in our green book, confidence. So we're doing our C, our O, and F, I, D, E, and C, E. Then at the bottom, we're going to write character, C, H, A R A C T E R. Our words on top are going to be made in orange. Using red and yellow, you make orange. And you're going to write the words courage. We're going to do our C, O, U, R, A, G, E, courage. These books will also be outlined with our black. So come in with your black and let's finish by outlining your books. The final thing you need to do as an artist is to come in and on the bottom right hand side, put in your signature. Make sure that you also write who the credit is for if you're not the one that drew this. But if you're the one that painted it, make sure to put on your signature. After this, again, reviewing what we've done, we've painted our background blue, came in, painted all the browns, our skin colors, the blue in the background, the pink, the greens that you see everywhere. And we finally did our outlining towards the end. So here you go. After this, you are done. One last final detail. Don't forget to add the white highlights on the eyes so that they look a little shiny and bright. And then after that, you are done. Thank you. See you soon.